गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we are seeing Shankaracharya talking about how contemplation on objects will lead to action. That is chinta. Vishaya chinta is one thing, and that chinta will produce kriya. Kriya is action, and again that will be both will be reinforced by what is already there as vasana. So this chinta, kriya, vasana, how these three have to be destroyed. So that is what he was discussing. And then all these things, they strengthen this aham vasana. Aham vasana, that is aham dhihi. That is the identification with that body-mind complex and notion of I, that egoism or notion of I is further strengthened by all these things. So that is what he was talking about. And in the last class, we read this shloka, Sadvasana Spurti Vijrumbhane Sati. We read that shloka. The next shloka we have to read. Tamaha Tamah Karyam Anarthajalam. So we have to read that shloka. Let us will read. Tamas Tamah Karyam Anarthajalam Nadrushyate Satyudite Dineshe Tatha Dvayananda Rasanubhutau Naivasti Bandho Nacha Dukkha Gandha. So he says, that is, in the dark, you see, when there is a bit, say, pitch dark outside, then you go out, you want to take a walk, and then you just fall into a pit, or you will just stumble and then stumble on some pebbles and then you will fall. So all this anartha jatam is there. Anartha means something. What is it, anartha? Artham is something which is wanted, desired. So anartha is something which is unwanted, undesired. So all these unwanted things happen. So in this, say, darkness. Similarly, in ignorance, with this identification of body-mind, with the body-mind complex, there is so much of anartha jatam. Anartha jatam is something, okay, say, janma, jara, mrityu, asking for more and more, say, vishaya vanchas. All these things are there. That is what he is saying in this shloka. Tamas, tamas is darkness. Tamah karyam anartha jalam. Tamah karyam, that is, as a consequence of this tamas, what is following is this anartha jatam. Anartha jalam or anartha jatam, whatever you can say. What does your book say? Anartha jalam. Okay, jalam can be a net, like antar jalam. Anartha jatam means, okay, the group of all this, the host of anarthas, the host of unwanted things, you can say. So in this darkness, there is, which is something which is unwanted and unwelcome, there is a question of, there is a possibility of stumbling, falling and all those things. Na drushyate satyudite dineshe. Dineshe udite sati. That is sati saptami. Dineshe udite sati. As the sun rises, or when the sun rises, all this anartha jatam na drushyate. That anartha jalam will disappear. Similarly, tatha advayananda rasanubhutau. When one goes beyond this identification with the body-mind complex, when one stays firm in that notion of oneness with that supreme reality, when one realizes that this ghatakasha is nothing but that mahakasha, naivasti bandho nacha dukkha gandha. This bandha, bondage is again due to this identification only. Bondage is due to that thing, and then identification of non-atma as atma, and that bondage will go, that bondage will disappear, and then there is no dukkha. It is only when there is a bondage, when I am thinking that, okay, this is important, then there is a dukkha. When I go beyond this identification, say, with the body-mind complex, when I go beyond that, then there is no question of dukkha gandha. So, nacha naivasti bandho, nacha dukkha bandha, gandha. Then now he is coming to another, say, obstacle in between. What is the other obstacle in the spiritual path? The other obstacle is pramada. Brahma, pramada, vipralipsa, various things are there, isn't it? So now he is talking about pramada. We know the meaning of pramada. Pramada in Telugu we use it wrongly, but pramada in Sanskrit means inattentiveness. That is pramada ninda. That is what we see in the next shloka. Drishyam pratitam pravilapayan swayam sanmatram vibhavayan samahitassan bahirantaram va kalam nayethas sati karma bandhe. So now he is talking about a person who is enlightened, and then an enlightened person still he has got some karma bandha. Karma bandha means prarabdha karma is there, isn't it? Even for an enlightened person, as long as he is alive, that is what is called a prarabdha karma. Somebody may have to be a ruler like King Janaka or King Rama. Somebody may have to be something else like Nisargadatta Maharaj. He was also say attending to his shop. He was actually running a shop, I am told. So he was actually having a small shop also. And then many other people may not have anything. For example, somebody like Ramana Maharshi didn't have anything. And some other people, they do have their own activity. So this karma bandha is can be there. For a jnani also, there can be karma bandha. Bandha is, it is not as though he is bound by that. He is not exactly bound, but karma is there. Prarabdha karma is continuing. So for that, he is saying this karma bandha. But so it is not really bondage, not bondage in the real sense. So karma bandhe sati, katham kalam nayethaha, how one has to spend time. Drishyam pratitam pravilapayan swayam. So this drishyam. Drishyam is, drishyam is something, whatever can be objectified is drishyam. All the five koshas can be objectified. Drug, drishya, viveka, we have to say relate in the present context. Drug, drishya, viveka, kshetra, kshetragnya, vibhaga. So right from kshetra, kshetragnya, vibhaga, probably that is the first discourse on this, say drug, drishya, viveka. Maybe Upanishad again, Upanishad also say, apart from Upanishad, say the first thing we find is in Gita. And subsequently there is a book itself called Drugdrishya Viveka. So this Drishyam, whatever can be objectified, that is, you have to negate all these things which can be objectified. Once you do that, you are left only with that pure Chidatma. So that Chidatma is the real identity. So this Pratitam means whatever is known. Drishyam, Pratitam, the knower and the known. The knower is different and the known is different. Pratitam is something which is known, which is objectified. Then Pravilapayan Swayam. Pravilapayan, that is, Pravilapana is, that is rejecting the names and forms and resolving the cause into the, resolving the effect into the cause. That Pravilapana Prakriya is, you see the effect, that Karyam is not different from Karanam. So this Karanam again, there is another, say, Karanam for that. So like that, all the koshas are resolved into one another. Panchakosha Pravilapana, we call it. Pravilapana is, that is resolving one into the other, resolving the effect into the cause. So that process goes on and on and on, till you resolve the whole thing into Maya. And that Maya also gets resolved in Brahma, Supreme Brahman. So this Nama Rupa Nirakarana, so that is what is this Swamiji, our Chandrasekhara Bharati Swamiji, he says it Nama Rupa Nirakarana. That Pravilapanam, by doing that Nama Rupa Nirakarana, that is negating the name and form. Swayam Sanmatram Anandaghanam Vibhavayan. And then he has to remain in that awareness that he is that Sanmatra, Sat, the pure existence. And then Anandaghanam, and then pure existence and bliss. Or Chit also can be included. Sanmatram, Anandaghanam. And then that is the pure, undifferentiated Ananda, as we call it, Anandaghanam. Anandaghanam and normal Ananda difference is, I am having Ananda through some sense object. So this is, I am enjoying this. So this is, I am the enjoyer and this is the thing which is enjoyed. So there is duality in this. Ananda Ghana is something where there is no duality. Ananda Ghana, that pure, like this Jnanam, Jnata, Jnayam, that Triputi is not there. Similarly in this Ananda Ghanam, there is no duality. So it is not something due to object, due to an external object. It is not due to an external object, it is Swarupa Ananda. So Sanmatram Anandaghanam Vibhavayan. So you have to realize, Vibhavanam means you have to be in that Anusandhanam, you have to do that Anusandhanam. We know the word called Brahma Anusandhanam. Anusandhanam means it is almost like applying that thing, that formula to yourself. So this Shruti is saying, I am that Ananda Swarupa. Am I not? I have to apply it to myself. So that Vibhavayan, Then samahita son, samahita is samadhi. Somebody who is in that samadhi is samahita. Samadhi is what? Samyak manaha adhiyate. The mind is properly totally in that awareness. Samyak adhiyate. It is the mind is perfectly in that awareness. That is samadhi. And not samadhi where no thought is there. Not samadhi again from not Patanjali samadhi. This, for example, this Vedantins, they always differentiate this Patanjali samadhi from our samadhi. Patanjali samadhi is a state where all this chitta vritti nirodha is there, and then it is somewhat like a say somebody who is in some sort of stupor or some type of say sedation, where the mind is totally dysfunctional, or not dysfunctional, it is not functioning. But then here, this samadhi is fully awake. The person is fully aware, fully awake, and then he is in that state of pure awareness. So that is this is the samadhi. Samahitasam bahirantaram va, bahihi antaram va. Not disturbed by external or internal objects. It is not disturbed by any, by external or internal objects. Then kalam nayethaha. So you have to be in that state of awareness. Sati karma bandhe, in case you are still having that karma bandha. So that is like a kulala chakra nyayam. Shankaracharya gives the example of the potter's wheel. The potter turns the wheel and then takes out the pot, but the wheel is still rotating. It will still rotate for some more time as long as the momentum lasts. Once the momentum is over, then it stops. So like that. Then now he is talking about the pramada. Again, a few more slokas on pramada or inattentiveness. The next sloka is pramado brahmanisthayam na kartavyah kadachana pramado mrutyurityah bhagavan brahmanasutah brahmanisthayam pramadaha na kartavyah. In the context of this brahmanishtha means being present in the awareness of Brahman. That you are not different from that Brahman, yourself is that Brahman. Being present in that nishtha, avasthana, that is that awareness, staying in that awareness, is that Brahmanishtha. In that Brahmanishtha, one should not be inattentive. Even if you are distracted for a minute, then again this Vijrumbhate. Vijrumbhate means this again bounces back, this ego bounces back. Pramadaha nakartavyah kadachana. Pramado mrutyurityaha. Pramada is mrutyu. That is what is the statement of Pramadam vai mrutyumaham bravimi. That is the statement from Sanat Sujatiya. Sanat Sujatiya, we know, it is a passage in Mahabharata. We know the very famous passage called Vidura Niti. Dhritarashtra, at one point, he was having some sleepless nights because he was also feeling guilty that he had taken away this, the kingdom which was due to the Pandavas. He was having those sleepless nights. Then Vidura, his very close, his brother and also the advisor and the counselor, Vidura has got all liberty to speak to Dhritarashtra in a very, very harsh way. That is like we see hard talk on TVs nowadays. TVs, you see, somebody comes and then pounces with all direct questions. So somewhat like that, Vidura has got all the access. So he talks to him about various, say, loka vyavahara. At a very vyavahara level, at the mundane level, he gives advice. Then Dhritarashtra asks him, you are also a wise man. Why don't you tell me this about something about this Atma Vichara? Tell me about what exactly is that reality. Then the Vidura says, okay, I am by birth I am supposed to be a Shudra, and according to Shastras I am not supposed to teach you, because though I may be wise, I may be a wise man, I may be an enlightened man, but still a Shudra is not supposed to teach Vedanta. He is not supposed to teach, in those days, not now. So I am not supposed to teach you, so I will request my Guru, Sanat Sujata, and then he will come and teach you. Sanat Sujata, we know he is that divine sage. They are called the Brahma Manasa Putra, Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujata. 4 people are there, isn't it? What is the other name? Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, Sanat Kumara, 4 people. So anyway, this Sanat Sujata, he meditates on Sanat Sujata, Vidura meditates on Sanat Sujata, then Sanat Sujata appears, and then he instructs, or rather he teaches Dhritarashtra. Of course, Dhritarashtra is not only blind, he is also deaf. In the sense, he listens here and then leaves it there. So Dhritarashtra is a highly somewhat like a fireproof, foolproof person. So firewall, there is a firewall in him. So Dhritarashtra, the very name, the name also is interesting, you see. Dhrutam Rashtram Yena, a person who is holding on to the kingdom, he doesn't leave that kingdom. So Dhrutam Rashtram Yena is that Dhritarashtra. So this Dhritarashtra, it is somewhat like, say, what you say, there is a proverb, pouring onto ashes or something like that, there is a proverb. So it is like that. So it is falling on deaf ear. It is all the instruction of Sanat Sujata is falling on a deaf ear in the case of Dhritarashtra. But anyway, that is a beautiful passage. It is a beautiful passage, almost next to Gita, and then it is also commented upon by Shankaracharya. Along with this Gita, Shankaracharya also commented on that Sanat Sujatiya, and it is also a very famous commentary. So there he says, Pramadam vai mrityum aham bravimi. This Pramadam, so in the case of Brahmajnana, in the case of that Brahman awareness, even a little bit of distraction, even a little bit of contemplation on sense objects, that is something which is going to be harmful. It will lead you, it will distract you, it will toss you about here and there. So that is what he says. So, Pramado Mrityuhu Ityaha, aha is told, Bhagavan Brahmanasutaha. Brahmanasutaha means he is supposed to be the Brahmamanasa Putra. Narada is supposed to be Brahmamanasa Putra. There are certain munis, certain sages who are given that particular status called this Brahmamanasa Putra. Then the next shloka is Na Pramadadanarthonyo Jnaninas Swasvarupataha Tato Mohastato Hamdhihi Tato Bandhastato Vyatha. This Pramada is leading to a chain reaction. There is a big chain reaction. What is the chain reaction? Pramadat anarthaha anyaha. There is no other bigger obstacle than this Pramada. There is no bigger obstacle than this. Jnaninaha swasvarupataha. Swasvarupataha pramadaha. Swasvarupataha pramadaha. That is falling from that awareness or being inattentive to that particular level. You are at that level of awareness and suddenly you are slipping down, slowly slipping down. That is, you can understand the word slipping down, pramada. So, swasvarupataha, slipping down. You are slipping down from that awareness. And then tato moha, by that you are again deluded. Immediately the ego arises and then it asserts, yes, I am this, and that is what is moha. Tato moha, tato ahamdhi. Ahamdhi, that aham is very readily, it is there, just waiting to grab you. Ahamdhihi, tato bandhaha, tato vyatha. From that there is bondage, from that there is vyatha. Vyatha means again birth, death, and that whole cycle, dukkha, ego, clashes and whatnot. All these things are there because of that ahamdhihi. Then the next shloka, all these are simple shlokas only. Only thing is that they are all meant for contemplation. They are basically meant for nididhyasana. Most of these shlokas, of course, there are some places where, certain complexity is there, certain points have to be clearly understood. But this vasanakshaya, then aham, controlling this ahamdhi, all these things, they are basically for contemplation. So that is the reason why some shlokas, they are more poetic in nature. Some shlokas are very, very simple, like the shlokas which we are reading now. The next shloka is Vishayabhimukham društva vidvam samapi vismupihi vikshepayati dhidoshaihi yoshajaramiva priyam. So this Vishayabhimukham društva vidvam samapi vismrutihi. This vismruti is what? That is forgetfulness. Forgetfulness of what? Brahma vismruti. You are at that level of awareness, that Brahman awareness. From that Brahman awareness, a little bit of vismruti. A little bit of vismruti is caused by some outside object. Some outside object, Vishayabhimukham društva. Vishayabhimukha. Vishaya abhimukha. That is facing towards a Vishaya. That is your orientation. Abhimukha means orientation. In fact, it's a beautiful word. I never got this word. Vishayabhimukham. This orientation, Vishaya orientation, oriented. You are abhimukha. There is a beautiful thing. You see, abhi is about mukha. You are facing in that direction. That is, you are oriented in that direction. So Vishayabhimukham društva, then Brahma vismrutihi. vikshepayati dhi doshaihi. It vikshepayati. You know the word root shipa. Shipa means to throw. It just throws about. That means it tosses him over here and there. Dhi doshaihi. Though tosses him over how? Dhi doshaihi. What are all the dhi doshaha? You know the definition of dhi. Kamaha, sankalpa, vichikitsa, dhrutihi, adhrutihi, hrir, dhir, bhi. All those things are manayeva. All those things are the mind. So all those are the dhi doshas. So you are having that anger, hatred, desire, this, that, etc. All those one after the other. All these dhi doshaihi. Vikshepayati, that vismrutihi vikshepayati. Katham vikshepayati, how does it talk about? Just like a woman, jaramiva priyam. That jaram is a paramour. You know the word paramour? P-R-A-M-O-U-R. You don't know. Paramour is somebody who goes to visit all these prostitutes. Yosha here refers to a person, a ganika. Ganika means a veshya. So that lady, jaram yatha vikshipati. If she makes use of that fellow and then she tosses that fellow about. Tosses that fellow means this fellow becomes a sort of a sort of toy in her hands, like a toy she plays with him. So that is what is the meaning. Yosha means a female, but here of course Yosha can refer to any female, but here of course Yosha is a Vesya, a Ganika. Jara miva priyam. Jara is a paramour. A person who pays money and goes to a woman, he is called a Jara. Jara miva priyam. Then the next message shloka also is like that. Next shloka is referring to, in the earlier shloka also, there was a reference to removal of all this moss from the water. You see, there is a water body, there is all moss which is there on that. You have to remove the moss and then you have to see the clear water. So that image, it is again mentioned here. Yatha apakrushtam shaivalam ksanamatram natisthati avrunoti tatha maya pragyam vapi parangmukham. So even if this pragyam vapi parangmukham, if this prajna, you know this person has by great hard work and all that, by Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana, by so much of Atma Sanyama and whatnot, he has attained that level of prajna. And by some mistake, he becomes a parangmukha. Parangmukha is bahirmukha. Parak is outside, isn't it? Paranchi khani vyatrunat swayam bhuhu says that, what is that Kathopanishad? Paranchi khani vyatrunat swayam bhuhu tasmat Parang pashyati na antaratman kasyid dhiraha pratyagatma namaichat. That is what it says. So one has to be a dhira, always. One has to be a dhira by controlling his sense organs and keeping them inside, looking inward. So by chance if he becomes a parangmukha, so this focus is always to be inside. Suddenly by chance if the focus is outside, then he is sucked out. So the focus should always be inside. So, parangmukham drushva yatha apakrushtam shaivalam. Shaivalam is that mass, you see. Apakrushtam is something which has been taken away. Apakrushta, apakarshati, you know. Something, the shaivalam which has been taken away, ksanamatram na tishtati, means it doesn't keep quiet. It doesn't keep quiet even for a minute. Immediately it again forms. And then avrunoti tatha maya, tathaiva maya avrunoti. In the same manner, maya is something which is just waiting like that shaivalam, which is just waiting like that moss to again recapture this fellow, to take him under her control. So Maya pragyam vapi parangmukham. If only he is directing his lens outside, the lens has to face in. So if at all he faces outside, then Maya immediately captures him. Then similarly, he is just describing how such a person who is distracted by this Vishaya Chinta, he falls and falls and falls. Now he gives the example of, say, a rubber ball. You are playing somewhere on the terrace and then from there it falls onto the steps. And steps from one step to down and down and down, it makes kanduka. Kanduka is rubber ball. A rubber ball bounces and falls and bounces from one object to another object to another, goes down and down and down. So like that it goes. So similarly, this gentleman also, adhah patati, that adhopata, he goes down and down from one thing to another, from one thing to another. Then you see, lakshyachyutam ched yadi chittameshat bahirmukham sannipate tatastatah प्रमादतः प्रच्युतकेलिकन्दुकः सोपानपङ्क्तौ पतितो यथा तथा. Pramadataha prachyuta keli kandukaha. Keli kanduka is that toy. Keli means play. Keli kanduka, that kanduka which is used for play. That keli kandukaha prachyutaha. Prachyuta means something which has slipped. Pramadataha by inattention. You are playing that, say you are catching that ball or something, and then by mistake you have left it, and then that fell on that say staircase, and then from steps down it keeps on jumping down. Sopana panktau patitaha. Sopana pankti, that's ladder, that huge, that not that staircase. Patitaha yatha tatha. Then similarly the mind also, lakshyat shutam ched yadi chittam ishat. Ishat shutam. Ishat means even a little bit. Ishat, even a little bit. Shutam ched, even if it slips a little bit. Slipping, shuta. Shuta means slipping. Achyuta, you know the word is achyuta, which doesn't slip away. Shuta is something which slips away. So it slipped away. So chutam ched, chutam from what? Lakshya, from that goal. You are at that high position. From that, if you just slip down, what happens? Bahirmukham sannipate tatastataha. A little bit if you become bahirmukha. Parangmukha earlier it was used, same bahirmukha. Bahirmukha, even if you just contemplate on the sense objects, immediately sannipate tatastataha. It keeps on jumping from object to object. Tatastataha means from one thing to another, another thing to another thing. So from one thing to another, he is jumping on sense objects. Gradually he will be falling down. So we know a famous shloka. What is that? Bhiksho mamsanishevanam kimuchitam. Kalidasa, it is attributed to Kalidasa or somebody. It is in Bhoja Prabandha. You see, one fellow saw a bhikshu. Bhikshu means say somebody who is like a monk. Bhikshu actually is a monk. So he saw that monk who was eating some non-vegetarian. He was eating some mamsa. Bhikshu is supposed to be a pracharaka of ahimsa, and then he is not supposed to eat mamsam, whereas that bhikshu is eating mamsam. So this man asked, Bhiksho mamsanishevanam kimuchitam. Oh, my dear bhikshu, you are eating that mamsam. What is this? Then that man said, Kim tena madhyam vina. Oh, what is there without a madhyam, without a glass of some wine or something? Then this man said, Are madhyam chapi tava priyam? Do you like madhyam also? Priyamaho varangana bhissaha. Yeah, when I go to some women, varangana, then I like that madhyam also. Priyamaho varangana bhissaha. Then this man was shocked, and then he asked, Varastri rataye kutastava dhanam. Where do you get money for the, if you want to go to that Varastri? Chauryena dyudenava. I will do some chauryam or jyudam. Dyuta is gambling. It's either thieving or gambling. Then then this man is further shocked. He says, Chaurya dyuta parishramosti bhavatam. Oh, you are having some parishrama in that bhavatam, so that mocking respect. Chaurya dyuta parishramosti bhavatam. So he gives mocking respect. He says, oh, you are such a great man, you are there, you have this expertise in Chauryam and Dyutam also. Bhrashtasya kavagatihi, he says. For a person who has slipped away, bhrashta, bhramsha is that falling, isn't it? Slipping away. Bhrashtasya kavagatihi, there is no, what is there is no rhyme, there is no rule or anything for bhrashta. For somebody who is a bhrashta, there is no limit. There is no limit to that fall. He can fall to any extent. So that is what we see here. This sloka from Bhoja Prabandha, it can be applied here. Then he continues to say about this sankalpa. Sankalpa means that is contemplating on the sense objects. Contemplating on sense objects is leading from one to another, from one fall to another fall. It is somewhat like the fall of man, which Christians say, the fall of man. The fall of man is somewhat similar to this. Probably they have not understood the metaphor. So, Vishayesh Avishetchetaha Sankalpayati Tadgunan Samyak Sankalpanat Kamaha Kamat Pumsah Pravartanam. We know that all human action springs from desire only, isn't it? Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. Gita says also, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva. Some sloka is like that. So here we have to see that Vishayeshu avishat chetaha. So this chetaha is mind. Vishayeshu avishat. While going or contemplating on the objects, what happens to that? Sankalpayati tadguna. You just think about something and then you will do some sankalpa, samyak kalpanam. That is, you are fancifully thinking about that. That shobhanadhyasa, value addition, as I said. That you are adding some value and then shobhanadhyasa. Oh, this will be very nice. This will be very nice. Even maybe sannyasis also may have such a shobhanadhyasa on some objects. Okay, if I have this particular type of say some goods or something, it will be very nice for me. It will be very nice for me if I have some AC room, I can study well. If I have some more comforts, I can study well. So something like that, maybe. Just giving an example. So this sankalpayati tadgunan, then samyak sankalpanat kamaha. This samyak sankalpanat, by this contemplation, by this thinking, by this fancifully imagining all those things, kamaha, then desire. And desire, kamat, vamsa pravartanam. That then pravartana. He goes about, Swamijis also go about collecting money, etc. That vamsa pravartanam. Everybody, not why talk about Swamis only, everybody. In all, we should not talk about Swamis only because Swamis, they collect only a little money, whereas all other people collect in tons. So anyway, all other say religions also. Anyway, tata swarupa vibhramsho vibhrashtastu patatyadhaha patitasya vinanasham punar naroha ikshyate. Tataha swarupa vibhramshaha. Vibhramsha. Bhramsha, you know. Bhramsha means falling. Bhrashta is, I said, bhramsha means falling down or slipping down. Bhrashta is somebody who is already fallen. Kta pratyaya. Bhramsha, kata. Ta pratyaya becomes bhrashta. Tata swarupa vibhramsho. That swarupa vibhramsha means swarupa, say, knowledge is there. That from that knowledge this vibhramsa takes place. Vibhramsha. Then this vibhrashtastu patati adhaha. Adhaha patati. He falls down. He goes down and down. Then patitasya vinanasham punaha na aroha ikshyate. Punaha aroha. That is again reviving, again coming back. That is not generally seen. A fellow who is fallen, it is very, very difficult for him to come up again. Punaha na aroha ikshate. Then similarly, this third shloka also is continuation for that. Sankalpam varjayet tasmat tat sarvanarthasya karanam apathyani hi vastuni vyadhigrasto yathotsrujet. Then, which is the worst enemy now? Worst enemy is that sankalpa. That contemplation on the sense objects and then thinking about their, say, great utility and fancifully visualizing their utility. So all that is that sankalpa. That sankalpam varjayet. Varjayet means that you have to carefully avoid. Then tat sarva anarthasya karanam. That is the karanam, that is the cause for all the miseries, for all the subsequent miseries from one to another, from one to another. It is going down and down. And then one has to give up all those sankalpas, just as a person who wants good health, he avoids all this apathyani. Pathyam means something which is to be followed. You know the word patha. Patha means path. Pathyam is something which can be followed. Apathyam means something which should not be followed. So apathyam, doctors always use the word called pathyam and apathyam. So these are the things which are pathyam. So these are the things which you have to take. This is apathyam. This you should not take. That is, you should not follow this route. So apathyani hi vastuni vyadhigrasto yathotsrujet. Yatha vyadhigrastaha utsrujet. Utsrujet means he gives up, totally abandons all these apatya vastus. A person who is desirous of good health, he gives up all stupid things. So similarly, one has to give up all these unhealthy things and unhealthy habits. Similarly, this sankalpam is something which is unhealthy for a spiritual seeker. Then, atah pramadanna parosti mrutyuhu vivekino brahmavidas samadhau samahitas siddhimupaiti samyak samahitatma bhavasavadhanaha. So he is now talking about what is called samadhi. Ataha pramadat na paraha asti mrutyuhu. Pramadat paraha mrutyuhu na asti. That is, apart from this pramada, apart from this inadvertence or inattentiveness, there is no other mrityu. Pramadam vai mrityuhu. That what Sanasujata said, he is elaborating. Pramada is something which has to be avoided. Vivekinaha, that is for the Viveki, Brahmavidaha, for the Brahmavit, apart from the Vivekinaha, Brahmavidaha, Pramadat na paraha asti mrityuhu. That is what is the Anvaya. For a Viveki, for a Brahmavit, apart from this Pramada, apart from inadvertence, there is no other mrityu. Because Pramada is gradually leading to that. Mrityu means what? Not merely this death alone. That is samsara. That is the cycle of samsara. That is what is mrityu. So Brahmavidaha, samadhau. Samadhau means in the context of samadhi, with reference to samadhi, or when we talk about samadhi, this pramada is something which is the most dangerous thing. Then samahitaha siddhim upaiti samyak. A person who is properly placed, properly there in that, settled in that samadhi, he alone attains that siddhi. Siddhi means that brahmanubhuti. That brahmanubhuti he only attains. Then samahitatma bhava savadhanaha. So you always be that samahitatma. You control your atma. Here is the self. Samahitatma means one who has totally controlled the self. Samahitatma, samahita chittaha, samahitatma. Atma means the self. So this self has to be properly controlled. And then bhava savadhanaha, be always be attentive. Savadhana is opposite to pramada. Pramada is inadvertence. Savadhana is full attention. Sa avadhana. Then he is now talking about what is called Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. This next shloka, he is talking about Jivato yasya kaivalyam Videhe cha sakevalaha Yatkinchit pasyato bhedam bhayam brute yajushruti. Jivato yasya kaivalyam. So for a person who is alive, Jivataha means Jivan is a person who is alive. Jivataha is Shashti Ekavachanam. Jivataha yasya kaivalyam. For a person who is alive, a person who has attained that kaivalyam. What is kaivalyam? Kevalasya bhavaha. That is kevalam. Kevalam is there is only one. That one supreme thing alone is there, and all else is something which is an appearance. And in that one supreme thing I am also there, in the sense that I, that is that consciousness, I, the very spurana, the very I notion is part of that consciousness only. Because of that consciousness alone, I am having this notion of I, not egoism. Not egoism, this awareness. I am talking about awareness. This awareness is there only because of consciousness. So that kaivalyam, kevalasya bhavaha, that only one supreme consciousness is there. Then this thing, this kaivalyam, videhe cha sa kevalaha. Even videha, videha means vigataha deha, that is the body is dropped. After the fall of the body also, this kaivalyam is very much there. You should not have any doubt. If you have any doubt, then that is again, you are having some udaram antaram kurute. You are again falling. You are having a sarupa prachuti. So a jivan mukta, a person is called a jivan mukta when he is alive. A jnani is called a jivan mukta when he is alive. The same person is called a videha mukta when the body falls. So that is the difference. Yatkinchit pasyato bhedam. Yatkinchit bhedam pasyataha. For the one who sees any little bit of difference. Pasyataha. Again is Shashti Ekvachanam. For somebody who sees even a little bit of difference, bhayam brute yajushrutihi. This Yajurveda, it talks about what is this Yajurveda. We have studied Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Udara mantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavati. Something like that we read. Has he quoted that line? That Swamiji, has he quoted that line? Anyway, that Udara mantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavati. There is some such line. Ut aram. Ut aram means even a little bit. Aram means a bit, little bit. Ut aram, even if a little bit. Antaram kurute, even if he sees or perceives a little bit of difference, little bit of duality, then atadasya bhayam bhavati. Now he is in the realm of fear. He goes beyond fear only when he goes beyond this realm of duality. So long as he is in the realm of duality, that fear is very much there. Yatkinchit pasyato bhedam, bhayam brute. Brute means it tells, Yajushrutihi talks about bhayam. Then the next shloka also is the same thing. This bhayam, seeing the difference. Yada kada vapi vipaschideshaha ब्रह्मण्यनन्येऽप्यणुमात्रभेदं पश्यत्यथा मुष्यभयं तदेव यदीक्षितं भिन्नतया प्रमादात् यत् भिन्नतया प्रमादात् ईक्षितं just by inadvertence or by mistake when he sees that duality then bhayam bhavati. So that is what it is. Yada kada vapi vipaschit esha vipaschit is jnani samyak pashyati iti vipaschit samyak pashyati vipaschit esha vipaschit esha vidwan esha viveki yada kada vapi anumatra bhedam karoti anumatra bhedam pashyati. Even if he sees a little bit, an iota of difference, an iota of duality, even if he sees or perceives an iota of duality, in what? In Brahmani Ananye. Brahma is something which is Ananyam. Ananyam is Advayam. Ananyam, na plus Anya. Advayam, there is non-dual. Ananyam is something where there is no other thing. Brahmani Ananye. That is Saptami in case of both. Brahma is Ananyam. Brahmani Ananye. In that Brahmani Ananye, Anumatra Bhedam Vipashyati Chet, even if he sees a little bit of duality in that, Pashyati Yatha Amushya Bhayam Tadeva. When he sees Amushya means for this person, Tadeva Bhayam, then that is the fear. Yad Ikshitam Bhinnataya Pramadat. By mistake, by inadvertence, he is seeing a little bit of duality. That perception of duality itself is Bhayam. Of course, the Swamiji is quoting these lines like Dvitiya Dvai Bhayam Bhavati Sarvam Tam Paradat Yo Anyatra Atmanaha Sarvam Veda. He is quoting those lines. Chandrasekhara Bharati is quoting Dvitiya Dvai Bhayam Bhavati. That is, when this say Viveki, when this Vipaschit, by some small folly or by some small inadvertence, if he sees even a little bit of difference, even if he perceives a little bit of difference, Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. He again falls into the realm of that fear. That is what he has quoted. Then again, he is again saying about Drushya Vilapa. The next shloka also, he is saying that Drushya Vilapa. That is, Shruti Smrutinyaya Jatair Nishidhe Drushye Traya Swatma Matim Karoti Upaiti Dukkho Pari Dukkha Jatam Nishiddha Karta Samalim Lucho Yatha. Malim Luchaha. This is a word which I found new, totally new word which I saw yesterday. Shruti Smrutinyaya Jatair Nishidhe. Then Nishidhe what? Nishidhe Drushye. So this Drushya is something which has been rejected by Shruti, Smruti, Nyaya. Shankaracharya talks about Shruti, Smruti and also Nyaya. Nyaya is reasoning. It is something which has been rejected. Because reasoning is very much there. This Panchakosha Pravilapa is not something, it is not a matter of belief, isn't it? This Panchakosha Viveka, Drushya Viveka, it is not a question of belief. Okay, this I am saying you believe. Lord Krishna is not coming and saying that. Lord Krishna is saying you think. Tapasa Brahma Vijñāsasva. You are having so many layers. Taittiriya Upanishad says you are having so many layers in your personality. You remove those layers. Tapasa Brahma Vijñāsasva it says. So like that, Nyaya, Shruti, Smruti, Nyaya Shataihi, by hundreds and hundreds of all these Nyayas, Nishiddhe Drushye, in this Drushya which has been negated, Yaha Swatmamatim Karoti, somebody who is identifying with that Drushya. Drushya is body-mind complex. Now we are not referring to any other Drushya, we are referring to body-mind complex, because we make this Atmamati or Ahamdhi in body-mind complex only and not in some external object. So in this body-mind complex which is a Drushya, you are making Atmamati. A person who does that, then what happens to him? Upaiti dukkho-pari dukkha jatam. Upaiti means he attains. What? Dukkho-pari dukkha jatam. One after the other. Dukkho-pari, dukkasya upari dukkha jatam. Dukkasya upari dukkham. So one dukkham has come. On that another misery, on that another misery, on that another misery. A series of a train of miseries he will attain. How? Nishiddha karta sa malim lucho yatha. Nishiddha karta, somebody who is doing the Nishiddha karma, who is performing the Nishiddha karma. Nishiddha karma means stealing is a Nishiddha karma. Chauryam is a Nishiddha karma. Or assaulting somebody else is a Nishiddha karma. Killing somebody is a Nishiddha karma. There are so many Nishiddha karmas according to law and also according to dharma. And most of these Nishiddha karmas, they are also punishable under law. Some Nishiddha karmas may not be punishable under law. For example, you have to do Upavasam on a day, on some Ekadashi day, suppose there is some such thing. You don't do Upavasam, then there is no punishment here. There is only a punishment in the sense that you have fallen, you have not observed that particular aspect of dharma. Suppose you are supposed to do Sandhya Vandana. Suppose we do not do Sandhya Vandana, then there is no punishment under law. The punishment is only for this person by way that, okay, he has not done, say, his Niyata Karma. When this Nitya Karma is not done, there is what is called a Pratyavaya. There is some sort of negative accrual of not only Papam, he only slips because Nitya Karma is a sort of spiritual exercise. When he is not doing spiritual exercise, he is going down and down. So that is the point. So this Nishiddha Karta, a person who performs this Nishiddha actions, sa malimlucho yatha. Malimlucha means a thief. Malimlucha is malinam mlochati iti malimluchaha. Malinam mlochati. I saw this Amarkosha for that say derivation, nirukti. Malinam, you know, malinam is dirt. Malinam mlochati. This mlochati comes from the root called mluchu gatau. Mluchu gatau, malinam mlochati. That is, he moves on a dirty path. He makes a dirty living, figuratively speaking. He lives on a dirty road, or rather, not physically on a dirty road. He lives on a dirty path, means there is a dirty way of life, let us say. He leads a dirty way of life. Okay, that's a better way. He makes a dirty living. He lives a dirty life. So that sort of thing. So malim luchaha, malinam lochati, malinam yatha tatham lochati, iti malim luchaha. So that is how the Amarkosha says. Malim lucha is a thief. Then Nishiddha karta sa malim lucho yatha. That is just like a thief from one degradation to another degradation. There is so much of, he is going from depth of degradation, they say. From one degradation to another degradation to another degradation, he goes down and down and down. So that is how he falls. Then the next shloka, it explains this word malimlucha. This malimlucha is explained in the next shloka. Satyabhisandhanarato vimukto mahatvam atmiyamupaiti nityam mithyabhisandhanaratastu nashyed drushtam tadetad yad achora chorayoho. Drushtam tad etad yad achora chorayoho. Achora and chora. Achora means not a thief. Chora. Achora, chora. Achora is somebody who is not a thief. Chora is a thief. Achora chorayoho. Drushtam etat. Between a person who has not committed theft and a person who has committed theft, this thing is seen. What is that? It is referring to some passage in Chandogya Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad, there is a small example of tapta parashu grahanam. Tapta means something which is hot iron, heated up. Tapta parashu. Parashu means eggs, let us say eggs. Parashurama, you know. Tapta parashu grahanam means holding the say hot iron parashu. There is a red hot iron parashu. A person is supposed to handle. Suppose a person is suspected to have committed theft. So in olden days, this sort of punishment, say examination was also there. This is ordeal by fire. In fact, this was there in all societies. Ordeal by fire, ordeal by oil, hot oil. They say you are supposed to dip your hand in the oil, and then if it comes out when there is nothing, you are say a truthful person, and if your hand is burned, then you are not truthful. So this type of ordeal was there in all societies. So to that such thing, this Chandogya Upanishad refers. And we may or may not believe in this, but anyway, Shankaracharya's time probably it was still believed, and I don't know whether that is at a slightly different level. We should not equate it here. That of course it is also an ordeal of fire, but then here Satyabhisandharato vimuktaha. So what happens is a person who is truthful. Satya abhisandhana rataha vimuktaha. A person who is committed to truth, a person who is a real person, who has not committed any theft or anything, vimuktaha, he becomes freed. Then mithyabhisandhana ratastu nashyet. So this mithyabhisandhanam is there. This mithyabhisandhanam is somebody who is falsely talking about Vedanta. So you see, Satya Abhisandhanam. We are now talking about Vedantis. Satya Abhisandhanam. A person who is really applying that Vedanta teaching to himself and trying to have some sort of purity in personality, etc. He is that Satya Abhisandhanarata. There is somebody else who is a Mithya Abhisandhanarata. One who is only talking and he is only a hypocritical person. So such a hypocritical person, he will be punished, like he will go down like that thief. So what happens to this Satyabhisandhanarataha? He becomes Vimukta. Then Mahatvam Atmiyam Upaiti Nityam. He attains that Mahatvam. He attains that Atmiyam Mahatvam. Atmiyam is relating to the self. That is Atmiyam Mahatvam means that is he realizes that greatness, realizes the mightiness of that Atman. That is he realizes that his Atman is the same as that Supreme Atman. So that is the Mahatvam Upaiti. He attains. Whereas this Mithyana Sandhana Rathastu, Nashyat, this Mithyabhisandhana, one who does a hypocritical person, he gets drowned, or rather he gets burned. Nashyet, Drushtam Tat, that is already seen. Drushtam Tat, Tadu Yetat, Tadu Yetat, that particular thing is seen. Yad Achora Chorayoho. In that example of Achora and Chora who were supposed to catch one red hot iron, this particular thing has been seen. So what happens to that Chora's hand gets burnt, and then the Achora's hand does not get burnt. So that Malimlucha is somebody who is, whose hands are burnt. And this Malimlucha is somebody who falls down and down and down because he commits a theft. And then when he goes to the court, he has to deny it. So committing theft is an offense. Denying again is an offense. So for committing one mistake, he has to do mistakes again and again and again in order to cover up so many mistakes, the first mistake. So having committed one mistake, he has to cover it up with some other mistakes. So that is what happens. So that Papa Parampara, as that Swamiji says. So there's one Papam leading to many. That is, a person tries to do some justification or rationalization or negation. So all these things are Parampara Papam. So that is how we see this Abhisandhanam, Atma Abhisandhanam. We will continue in the next class. Harihi Om Tat Sat.